Good morning.
Good morning, Kurt.
Good morning, Gary Schmidty. Good morning, Luc Verstrepen. Hey, last time we were talking, it was really kind of boring because it was on Zoom and so forth, right?
Exactly.
So this time here,
We can touch
I
each
can
other.
touch him. Yeah.
Yeah.
We are with the same same conversation, but this time live. Thanks for taking the time for it. And the situation is also very different compared to where we were last time. Last time, I believe it was before the US Indoor Championships.
Yes, correct.
And we have new scores and new information. So, okay, let's begin at the beginning. Where are we here actually? We are, of course, in
Luke's golfing home.
The golf center of the world,
Yeah.
the golf and tennis center in the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Haigusa is staying at a tennis.
SVB, Sarah van der Berg Tennis in Zephyr Hills. And owned or run by Pascal, run Pascal Collard. And we training in Zephyr Hills on the drop zone.
Yeah.
A jumping camp. And last time we spoke, we were doing a tunnel camp.
Right. And but we were not here. We are not here for golfing. Sorry, and not for tennis either. We are here to jump from planes. At least we're gonna make people jump from planes, right?
Yeah.
So what's the current situation? We talked about also the team assignments and the Qatar project and all the kind of stuff. But I think we covered this already pretty well. Now you are here in the middle of the camp, right?
Yeah.
So are you getting direction already with the teams, kind of? Do you have the lineups together and for the lions and the cheetahs?
No, we don't really. I mean, we took a little bit what we had from the tunnel and we swapped people when we arrived here, so they were not together. And we probably will have to make a couple more switches next week. Probably end of next week we'll switch again. So and then by then it should be finished. And then we have to start to choose who goes into what group to try and make them as equal as possible. Still, not to make us stronger in a weaker group, would be the plan. And we also, when we were in Lille, I think we mentioned we got 3 brand new guys from the Canopy Formation, even younger, 21-year-old. And so we're dealing with them as well here, which is a lot of fun. I mean, I must be honest, it's been so far good camp weather-wise, and we've made the jumps that we wanted to, so we cannot complain.
Foggy today.
Although today looks foggy, so it's great to be here.
Day off anyway.
Day off, yeah. And so far so good. Very, very happy with where we are right now with the group.
Cheetahs, lions, cheetahs, or
We
different?
all together.
All together.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think if I took one team and Luke takes another team, we could do it that way if we switched every other day or something. But what we try and do is Luke helps out, I help out, and we get them through. So I don't want to be a coach of one team and him the other team, because then it almost already splits the groups. Then
We have somebody else here actually, but it doesn't seem like we will see much of Pavel.
Yeah, Pavel Skotek.
Pavel Skotek.
Fast asleep.
Let's
Fast
see if
asleep.
he still come. We have some stories to tell with him too, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was cameraman of Tigers.
Tigers.
And Tigers are training just down the road here with Lake Wales, which
Yeah.
I believe you're on your way to go and visit them. So, yeah, but
And he's one of the best. I mean, he's probably, if not the best.
one of the best four-way
Yeah.
videos in the world,
ever
for sure.
in history.
For sure.
Yeah, in
There's no doubt.
But he is
Fast asleep.
too much fireball, I guess. All right. Well, you got competition too. Qatar competition. I don't know if you knew that. I mean, I'm joking a little bit, but we had we had 2 4-way teams from Qatar in at Paraclete XB, and you weren't there. So
No.
I was wondering, 4-way teams, but you know them.
Yeah.
Explain to us,
Yeah, it's the 8-way. The 8-way who split in 2 4-way teams, and they participated in the 4-way also in the tunnel, and then the 8-way afterwards. Yeah.
I haven't seen that often.
No. I think we did it once with them. Not even me. Maybe Luke and Marco did it, or Soli. I can't remember. But they did one competition where they did do some 4-way. But I think I think Jeremy did do some four-way training with them the same time we were in Lille. They did do some four-way, almost just to sharpen up the skills. So I don't know how much block technique they did, but I thought it was great to see. Of course, it supports the event, but on the other side of it, it's a long day for them. They had
Yeah,
four-way early in the morning, but there's people that do that every time. So there's people in the US that do four-way, eight-way, and then outdoor 10-way and 16-way. So
Yeah,
it becomes a marathon.
I think I counted Gina Billings. I think is the biggest, strongest example for that. I think I
Yeah.
counted 5 teams again
Incredible.
that she was competing with. Yeah, that makes it a long day.
Yeah. So it's a mindset in a way. So I think for the eight-way, they may be a little bit tired, but I mean, Jeremy put them in that position, and I think it's great. It's great that for them to do four-way and eight-way.
And we don't really, I mean, we don't have to look at the scores. Let's look at the big picture now. I mean, we had that, we had at least in four-way the Qatar Tigers there. You know, we had the Falcons there, and then we had all the US teams.
Yeah.
What did you see? If you look at the scores and the outcome and all kind of stuff, what are we seeing there after? I've had no evaluation yet of the competition there.
Yeah.
So I mean, Airspeed talked a little bit about their. What did you think about the Airspeed thing? You know, having Andrew Happick in there for.
Yeah, it is new to get used to. It's new to see an alternate there flying with, but I think it was because of the injury of Niklas. But otherwise, it did look very good. Huh? They did still their job there, you know.
34 flat, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, number one, it's great that Niklas could fly. I think he flew 7 of the 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So hats off to him with that pain. And then obviously Andy, I think, was fantastic alternate to grab. I mean, to be honest with you, I looked at all their rounds, and some rounds I didn't know if it was Niklas or Andy. Only afterwards I called Niklas, and then he told me he flew these rounds.
Yeah.
So hats off to Andy for it. But I mean, in general, US 4-way, US 8-way, extremely strong. For the rest of the world, it's big trouble. There's no doubt. I don't think there's anyone right now that could touch them in 4-way. Maybe indoors, the French team. The French team, they have been training, but I don't know how strong they are. But we saw in Charleroi how quick those guys are. And I know it's slightly different, but 2 of those guys jumped in Eloy, and that same team is going to be up against Airspeed. So in the tunnel, maybe they're stronger than we think. But I think as far as outdoor goes, it's going to be hard to touch Airspeed. And we'll see it in the Shamrock.
Yeah, we'll see all of them very soon.
In 2-3
same
weeks,
4 teams.
we'll know. There'll be, but the 8-way again as well. The GK XP8, incredible.
So you call it
Incredible.
the GKX? That's what they would like to. You know, they are struggling. They're actually fighting over the name. Is it going to be XP GK or is it going to be GKXP?
I'll leave that to them.
No idea.
It's not a serious
Not
fighting.
the same guys. It's the same guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, very strong.
Yeah.
So it'll be hard for, I mean, Qatar Falcons were second in Eloy, but you can see the gap. And
It's already bigger, the
It's going to
gap,
be
right?
hard to close that gap,
Yeah.
for sure. So, I mean, yes, maybe the French put together a team, maybe the Russians come back, who knows? But for 2 years' time, it's going to be hard for anybody to touch the US teams. Even in 4-way, maybe the French Hayabusa will get closer to Airspeed, but to challenge them is going to be a hard goal. It's a big mission to catch Airspeed right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Outdoor will, be a little bit closer naturally. So we'll see about
Maybe
that.
not the Shamrock, but at least now we'll see where we are. You know, the French team I think have done one outdoor training camp. Hayabusa has done one.
French one outdoor team.
Yeah.
Well, I think they have 1 week in the land before competition.
And I think they did one in France. I saw a post on it, but it's not long. I mean, I don't think it was a very long camp, cold weather in Pamir, so I don't know how much they jumped.
Yeah. Well, it's beginning to heat up a little bit. The competition at least with the outdoor, and then they have to go back to indoor again first before
Exactly.
the outdoor season begins. It's how is that playing out anyway? What do you think? Um, is that confusing? I mean, indoor is a totally, to my understanding, indoor is a totally different sport by now almost. You missing exit in the first page.
Yeah, maybe if we look to it like this, but anyway, you know, a lot of teams, the top teams, they train in the tunnel in the winter time, and for sure Europe with the bad weather. So I think it is a big part of our sport and a big part of the game. Huh? Now,
Oh yeah,
even
no
you
doubt
not have
about
exit,
this.
but yeah, they all did it before and they still do it, and I think it's a big connection to
But can you
both.
replace it? I mean, if you, let's say the whole,
No.
you know, the whole winter you do only indoor and then you go to outdoor and, you know,
Well,
and then
like we say, it's a very good simulator. Huh? I mean, it's a very good simulator. Like the Formula One drivers work now also on simulators. It's you can compare it a little bit like this, huh?
except for the first page, for exit and first
yeah,
page.
and you
Yeah,
can-
but it's still different. I mean,
Yeah.
for as an example, I think we spoke about it even yesterday. Is that the lions and cheetahs that we've been working with in Lille, they are actually good flyers and they could fly the tunnel pretty good. And when we came here to Zephyr Hills Outdoors, it's a total different ball game at that level. The top teams, I know Hayabusa is not really focusing too much on the world indoor. In Slovakia, they will do some training, so they will be good. But I think at their level, they don't need to train that much. But yes, they're not going for the win. I think if you wanted to win it, they would have to be training harder to try and get up to speed with an airspeed. An airspeed, yeah, the indoor. But I think for the top, even airspeed, I mean, airspeed is so good. They have trained a lot of indoor in the past. So I don't think it'll take them that much training to go to. I don't think they'll train that hard to go to, or that intense, I should say, to go to Slovakia.
Is there any would there any well, we don't know where the France is.
France.
You know,
I
they
think
could
France-
be an indoor competition.
France and Hayabusa, their goal must be to try and close the gap a little bit on airspeed. I mean, that would be.
Well, Hayabusa probably doesn't have that as, you know, they, of course, naturally everybody wants to, you know, get closer. But, you know, France may, you know, they may have that as a goal too.
Yeah, but I mean, we saw the French team a year ago in Charleroi. And with the kids in it, and they were super good. They were not that
It's a
far
different
behind.
team. You know,
Two in, two out.
Yeah.
So, and they've trained a little bit over the winter. So, also, I don't know what priority Machu is giving to the indoor. Even though it's an indoor world meet, the top teams know that outdoors where they want
Well,
to.
he put them together at least, you know, so indoor, outdoor, not two different teams anymore. It's the same team
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
That is probably a good, you know, will have good results, I would guess. You know.
It'll make them stronger. It'll
Yeah.
make them stronger.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned Andy a few times, but you were not talking. You know, Andy, the airspeed, Andrew Heppick.
Yeah.
He is. I know him as Drew.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have two Drews now. Drew Heppick and Drew Starr.
Yeah.
And Andy to me is Andy Growls.
Yes.
So we saw him in at Paraclete.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually had a long chat with Andy when we had some fog here one morning. They was driving back. I think we were about to leave North Carolina. And they're on their way to Lake Wales, probably in Lake Wales jumping right now if the weather's good. And, I mean, he's got a tough job because obviously he's got to try and get the Tigers onto a podium. And you've got those strong teams. So it's tough for him. And I don't read too much into the results of Tigers because I'm sure Andy did one camp with them before the US Nationals indoor. So
One camp, that's the only time he has spent with the Tigers?
Yes. Yeah. So they did a camp in Barcelona and Madrid, only tunnel. So for sure he added slightly new stuff, technique. So for them, for sure, it's not fair to look at their results, but we see how far airspeed is ahead. So to close that gap in a year or 2 years is going to be extremely tough.
And there must be a lot of pressure on him. I mean, I have doubts that the Qatar management, all they see is that they were third fourth,
Yeah.
third. So they want them.
Of
Andy,
course, of
Andy
course.
has to bring them up now.
Yeah.
You know, down wouldn't make any.
Yeah, of course, and I mean, we wish them the best, but it's a tough one because the French are going to get stronger, and they're still Hayabusa. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're going to end up fourth, but for sure they're all going to be fighting for that third spot.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's pressure on Andy.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
As a new coach,
Yeah.
poof,
Yeah, sure.
I mean, there's always that. You know, you go. I mean, Jeremy's now he's got a silver medal with the Qatar Falcons, so for sure they don't
twice,
want.
right?
Yes, so they don't want him to. They don't want the 8-way to drop back to bronze. So even if there is a French team, they have to work hard to try and stay in that ranking. But
In 8-way.
In 8-way, yeah. So I mean that's normal, but we know it's not possible. I mean, Hayabusas, they military and their bosses want them always to win a gold medal in SISM, which they've done. The FAI, the outdoor, is also important for them, but they knew that they were not going to win this one. They want them to win, but they knew that they would not win in Edo.
It seems to be easier to defend the second place in 8-way these days, you know, than going anywhere in 4-way, because 4-way, you know, between Airspeed and Hayabusa and France and all that. Oh.
Yeah,
What?
you get in the 4-way. I think now the Hayabusa, the French, they training hard. You know, this is real training, and they're gonna be moving up in their level for sure. So on the moment, I think we not see the same in the 8-way. On the moment, we have the US team, and I don't think that there is beside the Qatar 8-way that there is serious training in another 8-way. Maybe the Russians, but the Russians are
Germans,
not yet
bronze
competing.
medal,
Germany?
bronze
Germany.
medal defender.
Yeah, but you cannot yet compare, I think, the German team with the two professional teams out there.
No,
I mean, the situation looks different than in the 4-way. The 4-way is a little bit hardcore going. I mean, if you see French, Hayabusa want to be back there. French want to be back there. It's
One will end up without a medal.
yeah. And,
Nobody knows who.
everybody knows that 4-way. This is so many, and there's always that big fight. 4 or 5 teams up there.
Yeah. You almost hope that there's a fifth team.
You know, and we are not even talking about the
fifth
Russians
team.
yet. You know, so we used to have the Russians. in,
Yeah,
and
sure, they did.
We'll see if they come back or not. But
It's another one, maybe for a medal place there fighting. So
they won't be in
And
it.
you kind of hope for the 8-way. You hope that there are nations that will put teams together to go to Israel. You know, just to keep the whole 8-way moving. You know, because if we end up again with another small meet, it's kind of we're running out of momentum in the 8-way. And it's a real pity because there are nations out there. Holland, for one, can put together an 8-way team. They don't have to train that hard. But of course, there's the costs, the time off work. It's difficult.
It almost seems like FAI ISC is turning 8-way into an indoor event. You know, now they're trying to synchronize the routes and change now to make it, but it doesn't help the outdoor
No, not at all.
situation.
No. Well, I mean, I think they're hoping that there's a bit of a spin-off. But I have to be honest, all these 8-way teams that you see, it's great to see because we need it. I don't know how many of them are going to go do outdoor.
Yeah.
You know, the tunnel, as we know, is so easy. You know exactly what time you're flying, what day you need to be there, and what day you're leaving. But on a drop zone, you never know.
Well, we'll see. You know, I mean, the evidence is hard numbers. The hard numbers is participation. So we'll find out over the years, you know, how it turns out, whether this is beneficial and productive or not.
Yeah. Well, we hope so. We hope so.
Yeah.
And organizing wise, it's not that easy. An 8-way, I mean, if we look to German team, they have all jobs, you know, all jobs, and then you have to find not 8 guys, probably 10, to keep turning the thing.
Coordinate
It's not easy. 4-way is already enough difficult
exactly,
to stay with the same 4. You know, but this is the truth.
No,
to
so
stay
true.
with the same 4 together. I mean, you have professional teams and all the others who the closest ones, they have jobs, and it's not easy. But 8-way, I can imagine if you have to find new teams who are not on the moment professional.
Yeah.
Well, it is not easy. Not easy.
I'm wondering sometimes if it's time to separate, the real pros from the full-time teams from, the USBA. They have this separation anyway.
Yeah.
There's the open class, there's the advanced class, and we have in at the World Championships or whatever, the military, even Papea from Spain, that's a full-time team, right?
Yeah.
But they are, placing ahead of they're not in the medal range, but they are ahead of all the other.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. I mean,
Very difficult.
I think yes. I mean, it's obviously it can be put up for an argument for it, but for example, in 8-way, you don't have enough teams to split.
Yeah.
If you in a way split anything, you don't even have 2 professional teams. So 4-way, you would lose maybe 5 teams, maybe if I think of it. And then the rest would be fine. So you'd have 5 teams fighting for a medal in pro section, and then the next. But I like what you do is you always put up the best amateur team or the best of the rest, which Germany was fighting for, Sweden was fighting for, Papaya, but indirectly Papaya is a full-time team.
Yeah. So that's where do you make the distinction?
Yeah. But they do also accuracy and style, Papaya.
Yeah.
So they split their numbers of training in disciplines.
Yeah, true.
This we have to look also, because they're doing pretty good in the FAI. If you see real SISM teams, I think this is the next behind Hayabusa, who is doing everything.
Yeah.
And German team. The SISM team is high level, also indoor.
They are competing in Slovakia.
They're competing in
so the outdoor national team.
Papaya is a kind of team like this, who do accuracy, do all the disciplines. Then they're doing good in the FAI. I think they do a very, very good job now. Yeah, but splitting, in US you have many teams, and there maybe you can look up to the professional. But Europe, we have no. Go Belgium. We try to find enough AAA teams, competing.
Yeah.
If we split in an intermediate and a rookie, what is very good for the young motivation a little bit. But if we see on our nationals, Holland and Belgium, we have now nationals together to get it a little bit bigger. More teams.
This year,
Yeah. But if we look only to Belgium, I think in the only country where they have a lot, or 2 countries, is the German nationals. They have a lot of teams usually, and France. But otherwise, England. But everything is a little bit going down. Maybe
pandemic,
it comes back after the COVID and the crises. But in the most countries is splitting. Then we have 1 team in Belgium, Hayabusa, and all the other. Then it is difficult to have good nationals where you have like 7, 8 teams in these small countries. Yeah.
So when it would be not too difficult for like Belgium to put an 8-way team back together and win a medal at the World Championship.
We talked about it. We talked about it. Where it was, I saw Sven. We are all still connected, and because Sven's team fell a little bit apart with Maya, the bad luck for Maya, and then a new member.
But they're back with indoor now at least. Right?
Yeah, but they cannot yet really go on
full power.
It is still and outdoor not. So there was a say, hey, if we see what the German team could do in Eloy, was that hey, maybe we can have a fight there. If we go to Israel, and we talked about it. But if you look to the ones who has already level, or you make a team just friends and try to be as good but if you look higher level guys with experience, you want to put them together and training, like we say, is a very tough one to get organized. And this one is coaching, this one is gone. Forget Hayabusa on the moment. They want to bring their level up. What is their first job? This is their job. But it's tough. It's tough to find guys, we talked about it. As Sven said, hey, we do something together, you know, and he really thinking it. But if this is, you know, if we can make
Easy
it happen.
Bronx medal
Yeah.
situation. I mean,
Yeah.
not easy, but
Hey, I love to do it, you know. I love to do that thing, like a smaller project.
Belgian community
I love that.
here at
Yeah, but
Luke is ready.
I'm ready.
And I hope Holland can do, and I hope Sweden can put together an 8-way team.
yeah.
And all go. I mean, Norway should put together.
Now we
an
will
8-way
have
team.
one. You know, they at least
For
they're
Israel
trying.
as well.
Now at least for this year,
Yeah,
not,
yeah, it was.
the World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So hopefully somebody from the committee can go to a representative and say, let's see if we can get these people in Israel. You know?
France is in a similar situation now. There are rumors, but and of course I was asking Martial at Paraclete, but it's difficult.
it's difficult. It's not that easy. You know, in the earlies, we had always in the Belgium nationals, the one who win, the team who came second in the 4-way, we always joined, do a few days training, few weekends training in 8-way, and went to the world meet. And one team is doing the 4 and the 8, and one team is only there for the 8. We had this many years. We went in many world championships like this. But on the moment, this is not the case anymore, because that time we were all like weekend teams, amateur teams.
Yeah.
And now you have that Hayabusa, you cannot pull that in, and yeah, so you have to make a full separate 8-way.
And I think, I mean, even thinking of that, if you put the second and third team together, you have 8 people, but maybe they don't want to go.
Right.
There might be
Yeah.
people say, we only do it until the nationals, they're not interested, so.
And again, that's what France did in Eloy.
Exactly.
You know, it was really one of the
They were not interested
weekend
in
teams, not really that interested,
Yeah.
but they made it in this case.
Yeah.
The Germans have, I have respect for how they keep this Airbus 8-way
sure.
project going over,
Sure.
a pretty long time. They have now, I think, five new members, or
Yeah.
There was 3 of them, I think Spili,
Stevie.
Stefan, and I want to say Klaus, not Klaus. No,
Max, maybe.
No, Max,
no.
But the 3 of them, they picked up 5 new people.
Oh, Carl Enders.
Carl.
He's
Exactly.
the third, yeah.
And then they've picked up 5
Yeah.
5 new members, and they're going to go. So, I mean, hats off to Speedy and those 3.
Yeah,
The 3
exactly,
there.
yeah.
Sure.
Because it's also a big project.
Yeah, big project. So that's good. At least it's happening. I don't know what microclimate the Brits
Yeah,
usually
let's hope
are
they can do
in it.
something. Let's hope
Yeah,
they can
sure.
do something.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh well, it's time to
Still weather hold here.
weather hold here. I don't know how it's going to be in Lake Wales, but well, I'll find out.
Good
I
luck.
think I will transition now to Lake Wales from Zephyr Hills to
Yeah,
Lake
maybe
Wales.
blue sky in Lake Wales, I think.
Well, that's good golfing weather, I guess.
Yeah,
for
for sure.
for the coaches here.
The afternoon golf.
Yeah.